Hey everyone, this is Michael, and welcome to episode 23 of Play On Gamer. Very sorry, I was supposed to upload this episode via recording with my new camcorder, but unfortunately, it's been a very weird past 24 hours here in Toronto. It has snowed, the roads are pretty bad, and I wasn't able to get a tripod in time. But I can promise you that I will get a tripod this week, and hopefully next week's uploads of Play on Gamer will be recorded on my camcorder and uploaded here to YouTube. Okay, so let me get into episode 23 of Play on Gamer. Now, today's episode is about the $33 million loss at Square Enix. We're going to be talking about the future of Final Fantasy 15 and also of Hajime Tabata, who is the director of Final Fantasy 15 and also the COO, the former COO, head of Luminous Productions under Square Enix. Now, in a recent financial report, Square Enix reported an extraordinary loss of $33 million, and it's due to the restructuring of their newly formed Luminous Productions. Luminous was staffed with the some members of the Final Fantasy 15 team, and the studio itself was run by the director of Final Fantasy 15, Hajime Tabata. The focus of the studio was to create Final Fantasy 15 DLC, along with creating new AAA games and other entertainment content such as movies. Now, let me give you a definition of what AAA games means. AAA titles receive the highest development, marketing budget, and they're also considered to be a high economic risk with high level of sales required to obtain profitability. Now, as a result of this restructuring, Luminous Productions will cease work on further planned Final Fantasy 15 DLC, that being episode Arena, Luna Freya, and episode Noctis. Episode Arden will be saved and released sometime in March 2019. The new focus going forward is for Luminous Productions to shift their focus to large scale, high quality AAA game titles. And the rumor going around is that they have been working on a game for a next generation console, um, currently unknown. Now, it's not good news to hear of Square Enix taking a financial loss on a newly formed studios. I believe Lumos Productions was formed earlier this year. If I'm not mistaken, I think sometime in March 2018. Now, with Luminous being a newly formed studio that helped bring together Final Fantasy 15, its future episode content, while also creating a new next generation title for Square Enix, they now find themselves in a troubled spot after their COO and head of studio announced its leave as a $33 million loss became public. Now, before I go any further, I have a question for you, the viewer. You purchased Final Fantasy 15. I'm curious to know your thoughts on the cancellation of further episodes of Final Fantasy 15. Post your replies down in the comments box below, and I'll get to read those comments, and I'll probably reply to them in a future video. Okay, let's head into part two of this Play on Gamer episode. Now, Final Fantasy 15 was released 2 years ago on November 29th, 2016. This being the console version, the Xbox 360, and no, sorry, I'm thinking of Final Fantasy 13. This being the Xbox uh, One and the PlayStation 4 port. Now, Final Fantasy 15 was based off of a previous plan. Sorry, an unreleased Final Fantasy Versus 13 project that was announced back in 2006, around the same time that Final Fantasy 13 was announced. Square Enix recently had an anniversary stream, uh, and it was to commemorate the anniversary of the release of Final Fantasy 15. But in my opinion, this event turned out to be the end the end of Final Fantasy 15. Basically, the news it went from a celebration of Final Fantasy 15 to basically announcing, "Hey, Final Fantasy 15 is coming to an end." Now, let's get to some facts before I talk speculation. Now, the fact is that we all know by now that Hajime Tabata has resigned from Square Enix. A lot of people don't think that way, but let's talk facts before we talk speculation. This fact is that Tabata was not fired; he resigned. And Square Enix made a report saying Tabata had resigned and will be opening up his own studio. Tabata himself wrote a statement about his resignation from Square Enix. These two statements are preserved on the internet for viewing. Now, as for speculation, a lot of people have their own version of events leading to Tabata leaving Luminous Productions. A lot of people are blaming it on the loss that occurred at Square Enix. A lot of people are somehow thinking that this is a Kojima situation when truly none of us n- know the exact details of what happened between Kojima and Konami to compare this to Tabata and Square Enix. But anyways, as for speculation, a lot of people have their own version of events leading to Tabata leading Luminous Productions. Yuji Nakamura, who is a Bloomberg tech reporter in Tokyo, had this to say on his Twitter account, and you can find them on Y Nakamura 56, YNAKAMURA 56 on Twitter. So he writes this timeline and casualty in Final Fantasy 15 drama. The first point he makes, Tabata quit to start a new venture. The second point he makes, Square decided they can't or didn't want to make DLCs without him. The third point he makes, Square took write down extraordinary loss on resources already allocated for DLCs in that order from public info and from his sources he gets this information from. This Twitter post was made on November 8th, 2018 at 6:16 a.m. So you can go see it for yourself. Now, I did say that this anniversary stream, which occurred 2 weeks ago, had cancellation announcements along with the news of Tabata's departure. But the stream wasn't all gloom. A standalone version of Final Fantasy 15 multiplayer comrades was announced, and a Final Fantasy 15 crossover event sorry, and a Final Fantasy 15 crossover event in Final Fantasy 14 online was announced. So, although to me, um, it looks like Final Fantasy 15 is coming to an end, there's still some stuff to look forward to before the end is truly uh, uh, fallen upon us. Now, before I end this episode, I'd like to extend my wishes of good luck to Tabata and also to the opening of his new company, which will eventually pop out a next generation title. I know people were already saying, there's rumors on the internet, people are already saying that when he joined Luminous, he actually was able to uh, recede a ban on Square Enix employees not being able to work on side projects. So the rumor going around is that while he was at Luminous, working overseeing the company, overseeing the Final Fantasy 15 DLC and whatever new AAA title that Luminous Productions was working on, Tabata on the side was working on his own new game project. So we'll see in the future what Tabata will pop out from his new studio, and what will be interesting is which publisher he'll align his studio with. Will he be like Kojima and align himself with Sony, or will Tabata be enticed by, say, Sony, or let's say Microsoft, or maybe a third party, maybe Sega, maybe Capcom? Who knows? We'll find out. Okay, so that's it for episode. I can't believe I don't remember this. 23 of Play on Gamer. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, comment, subscribe to this channel, and also click the notification bell. See you next time.